Hello bookish friends, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew and this is Drew's Ambitious Reading. And for today's video, I am very excited because I am going to be bulk filming today, so you might see this funny and cute, I think, grumpy t-shirt in all my videos for the next couple videos. Today I am planning on bulk filming a lot of my end of the month videos for you guys, so like my monthly wrap-ups, my monthly book haul, my next month new releases and all that. So look forward to a lot of the beginning of the month and end of the month content coming from me soon. I have a couple videos already up if you want to go watch them. I have the Summer Loving book tag will be up next weekend, so definitely check that out. And then currently I have my July Owlcrate unboxing up with my friend Liz. I'll leave that video up above, but yeah, definitely go check them out. So without further ado, what is today's video, you might ask? Well, it is time for a monthly wrap-up. It's time to talk about all the books we read in the month of July, and as you can see from this big stack, we read a lot of books. I'm so happy with the reading I did in the month of July. I think it was because I participated in 2 readathons. I participated in Summerween, which is hosted by Gabby over at Gabby Reads. Yeah, Gabby Reads. Oh my gosh, brain fart. She's the host of Summerween, so I did that. And then Marcy over at the Brightside Girl Reader, I've participated in Mermadathon. I've only read 1 book for that, but the rest of these books could honestly fit those prompts if I wanted to. So without further ado, let's jump into what I'm currently reading right now. At the time of filming, I am 5 chapters away from finishing one of my arcs I'm reading. What? I'm reading an arc? Yes, I am. I'm physically reading it and enjoying it too. And that is Prince of Palaisdes by Julian Winter. This is a YA contemporary standalone novel that is a male-male romance novel, I should say, instead of love entrance. There's a lot of LGBTQIA plus characters in here, so that's really exciting. This is actually my first book by Julian Winters. I've read a couple of his short stories and I knew I was going to love his writing, but I wasn't sure how attached to these characters I would be. We follow our main character named Prince Jaden, and he is the Prince of Reverie who left to be in America because of something he did back home, and so he's getting like punished for it. So he goes to America to find out all these new things in life, I guess. It's really cute. It's super hard-hitting so far, and I'm hoping to finish this one up today, so hopefully this will be my August wrap-up. This book doesn't come out till August 27th, so you'll see this again in my August new releases video. Actually, I can put you up here. Maybe. Oh, I'm gonna need this bookmark later today. My next book, I am halfway through, and I'm buddy reading this with my friend Karina over at She Dreams in Words. She finally has a booktube channel, so welcome to booktube. I am so happy to have you, Karina. I am so excited, but I'm also very sad to say that I am reading and not loving Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is the newest novel by this author, and I'm so sad to say I'm not loving this because I loved her other books, her YA novels, The Poet X, and what else has she written? The Poet X and Clap When You Land and With the Fire on High. Those are the ones that I read and I really loved. But I'm reading this one right now and I'm more than halfway through. I'm actually hoping to finish this one today as well. I'm going to listen to this while driving to my public library today. But I'm literally halfway through. I'm on page 180 out of 300, I think. Yeah, 364. So whatever that math is, that's how much I have left. And I'm kind of just at the point of forcing myself to read, which I hate that. But I also hate not telling my friend Karina that I don't love this book. So I'm also like pushing myself to finish it to see if I will like it at all. So curious to see how I will feel at the end, and curious to see what Karina has thought of this book. So let's jump into my monthly stats for the month. So for my page count, I'm very happy to say my page count was 5,729 pages. What? My biggest book, I have to put a picture in because I don't own it, but my biggest book is Poison in Their Hearts by Laura Sebastian. This is the third and final book of the Castle in the Bones trilogy. Loved this one. I would say book 2 I loved a bit more just because I felt like this third installment kind of dragged a little bit, but this is coming in at 544 pages. And then my smallest book of the month, I'm actually shocked this is my smallest book because you'll see later on in my stats, I've read a couple graphic novels, so I thought one of my graphic novels would be my smallest book, but no. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight is my smallest book. This is by Kaylin Byrne. I read this for Summerween and I really loved it, so I cannot wait to read more from this author. Although this wasn't quite a 5-star read, I still think of this book to this day, and it was such a fun, cute, short read. Perfect for a readathon because I read this for Summerween. So yeah, perfect way to start off a readathon by starting with this short book. I'll talk more about this later on in the video. And then, so I showed you the biggest and smallest. And then my favorite book of the month is a tie. It's gonna be Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This was actually one of the first reads that I read in the month of July, but I am so excited to say I loved another Marissa Meyer book, and the reason why I love this one is because I buddy read this with my friend Mel over at Completely Melanie and Amanda over at The Reading and Writing Life. Anyone I mention will be left down below, but I buddy read this with them, and with the way we were talking about it, I was halfway through the book at the time of our live show for Camp Season-a-thon, and I was like, ooh, this makes me want to pick up the book and finish it, and literally later that day, I finished reading Gilded, so it was just so fun to have friends talk to online and on Discord about Gilded, and I cannot wait to read Curse next month. Spoiler alert for my August TBR. Another one that I thought was one of my favorite reads of the month is one that I think you guys might be shocked at, and I know my friend Dana over at Dana Ella, I think, she will be super happy to see me continue on with this trilogy because I started book 1 in the fall of last year, and we're now August of this year as I'm filming this video. And so I finally continue on with Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second installment of the Good Girl Guide to Murder trilogy. Spoiler alert, book 3 is on my TBR. I'm so excited to continue on with this trilogy and excited to see what happens in the third installment. This book was so hard to put down. I literally stayed up past my bedtime reading this book. Not that I don't have a bedtime, but you know, I stayed up way too late reading this book. So I'm so happy to say I loved it. It's a favorite read of mine. If you have not checked out the series yet, definitely check out the series. It is definitely worth the hype. Heck, I got my friend Liz to read the series, and she's currently reading book 1, and she says she's loving it, so I'm excited to see what she would think of book 2. But this had so many twists and turns in here, it was insane. So those are my monthly stats, and now let's jump into all the books that I read. I'm going to try and rapid fire these because some of these I've already talked about and some of them I haven't. So I read 15 books in the month of July, which is amazing. But I'm going to rapid fire these. So the first book we already talked about, and I already gave you my reason why of loving it. I read Gilded by Marissa Meyer. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I've already talked about this in the beginning of the video. The next one that I read in the month of July was also a 5-star read for me, and that was Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I listened to this via audiobook, which was narrated by Michael Kramer, and I actually really loved it that way because it was just more immersive for me, and it was so like easy to visualize everything. I loved the characters in here. It kind of gave me like a Little Mermaid retelling and like a mix of The Princess and the Bride retelling almost. But I'm curious to see what the rest of the 4 secret novels have in store, even though they're not really secrets anymore. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Fun story. I read this for Mermadathon. I read this for Girl on the Cover and a book set on an island. So, and as you can see, both has a girl on the cover and set on an island. And this can also count for a pirate read as well, but I forgot what prompts. Really enjoyed this, 5 stars, and let's move on to our next book. The next book I read was You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Barron. Like I said earlier in this video, I read this for I read this for Summerween, and I really enjoyed it, although it was a bit slow for my taste, which is why I got a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And I love the writing, and I love the short chapters, so really enjoyed this. And I'm sad to say this one is one of my lowest rating by this author, but I read other books by her before that I loved just a tad bit more. The next book I read was one of my monthly favorites, and that was Good Girl, Bad Blood. Again, already talked about this, gave this 5 stars, and I can't wait to read book 3. The next book I read after that was Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This was for Gabby over at Gabby Reads book club pick for the book troop, and also Lala over at Books and Lala for the Literary Dead book club. I was so excited for this, like everyone and their mother was as well, because this is everybody's like most anticipated reads of the summertime, and this did not disappoint me. I have a reading vlog of me reading and having my reaction to every single moment of this book, so hopefully by the time this video goes up, that vlog will also be up at the same time. We shall see. I'm currently editing it as I'm speaking to you guys, so love this one. I loved how it was such a different different perspective of a main character that we got, because if you know, Riley Sager usually writes females' point of view, but for this time around he wrote from a male's perspective, and it was quite interesting to see it from a male's point of view. So really love this. Love the haunted setting. It gave me the chills while reading at night, and I'm so happy I read this for Summerween because it did not let me down, and I give this 5 stars, and I can't wait to see what Riley Sager has in store in the future. The next book I read, I have to put a picture in it, and that is Amulet Volume 9 by Kazusa Kabishi, I think is the author. This is the 9th and final installment of this graphic novel. It's actually a middle grade series, and so I was a little disappointed that like it wasn't as actioning as I wanted it to be, but it was still overall a great final installment of the series. I am sad to say goodbye to this world because I absolutely loved the first 8 volumes, so I was hoping there will be like a 10th one coming, but I think this is the 9th one and final one with the way that this book ended. So sad to say goodbye to this world, but I really loved it, and I hope Kazusa has more in store. Give this 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read, I did that out of order. Sorry guys. The next book I read was The Deep Dark by Molly Knox Ostrich, I think. This is a YA fantasy, maybe contemporary, more magical realism. This is a YA graphic novel that I read earlier this month. I actually read this in like 2 days. I would have read it one day, but I was reading it while I was working, so obviously work got in the way of my reading this month a little bit. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. This one ended like there could be a sequel coming to it, but I don't know if there is a sequel coming. If you guys know, let me know down below. I would definitely love some more graphic novel recs. I wish I had bought a physical copy of this one, that way I can show you guys the artwork of it. But the artwork was stunning, and I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars because it ended like there could be more, and it didn't like wrap up all the way through. So I'm curious to see if there is a sequel coming. Next one I'm going to skip because I already talked about, and that was Poison in Their Hearts by Laura Sebastian. 5 out of 5 stars, one of my favorites. Next one I have, what's funny is about this one is I borrowed this from my public library at the time of me reading this book, and then literally that same weekend I got my July Owlcrate. So spoiler alert for July Owlcrate in case you haven't watched my unboxing of it, or in case you guys haven't got your box yet. But it was funny to see this book in my box because I literally read it for a weekly vlog that I have coming from you guys, and that is Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Barron. This one I really loved. I read this all the way through in one sitting. It was such a fun and interesting take on a Snow White retelling. Hint why I wore this shirt today, which is so funny. I did not plan that on purpose. This follows our main character, Snow White, Eve. She was snarky to some of the side characters in the story, and I really enjoyed the found family trope in here. There was a found family trope with the dwarfs, obviously, but they're not really like the dwarfs we see in Disney movies. They're more human this time around, and it was quite interesting to think about like the Disney characters, but also to see them as like human form, if that makes sense. Overall, great story. Cannot wait to see what she does as another retelling, because she did Cinderella is Dead in the past, and now she did Snow White. So I'm excited and curious to see if she will do another YA standalone fantasy retelling. Such a fun book. Definitely, if you're a fan of Snow White retellings, definitely check this out because I think you guys will love this one. Also, stunning sprayed edges from Owlcrate. Thank you so much, Owlcrate, for a beautiful edition of a book I really love. So, yay, 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I have to put a picture in, and that is Blood and Fury by Tessa Gretton and Justina Ireland. This is the second and final book in the Chaos and Flames duology. I can't remember what the series name is, but the first book was Chaos and Flames. I read that earlier this year in the month of April, I believe. So I'll leave my April wrap up to see what my thoughts are on that book. I'll leave that up above. But I love this one. This one was an e-arc I got sent to me from Penguin Teen. So thank you so much, Penguin Teen, for sending this my way. It was such an enjoyable series, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't read it sooner. You know, it's like one of those books that you wish you read sooner. This has dragons, it has romance, it has morally great characters in it. It's dual narrative too, so like 2 point of views from each of the characters, which I found really fascinating. I usually get confused with 2 point of views, but for this series it was quite easy to follow along. And I'm also sad to say goodbye to this world because I literally just started it this year, so it was like a quick read. I can't snap with that hand, but it was a quick read like that. And I wish we have more duologies in the world because this was a really quick series for me to wrap up. So excited to see what these two authors have in store in the future. 5 out of 5 stars, sorry. The next one I buddy read this because I was part of a Facebook group that does a bunch of buddy reads with like everybody in the group. There's always like a fantasy read, always a contemporary read, and always a young adult fantasy read or something like that. And for the adult fantasy selection for the month of July was The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shield. And what's funny about this one is I added this into my weekly vlog that I'm currently editing. Hopefully you guys will see that. I picked this up because my friend Taylor, who you guys know and love on this channel, she actually bought this book for me in the month of June. So I was like, well, I must get to one of my 8, you heard that right, 8 books. Get you a bestie like Taylor. Anyways, I really enjoyed this one. I kind of knew I was going to love it because I've been hearing nothing but amazing reviews about this one going around the platforms here, and especially on Book Talk. This is really hyped up on Book Talk at the moment. This is an adult fantasy standalone novel that follows our main character, Marigold, or Mary as some of her friends call her. This follows our main character named Marigold, who is next in line of the witches, I guess. So next in line to become the Honey Witch. And this is just a cozy, sweet fantasy, very gay fantasy it is. This is a sapphic love story as well, so we love the representation in here. I have a new favorite character in like all the books I've read this month, and that is August. August was so sweet and so charming. His story made me a little sad though with the way his storyline ended. If you know, you know. I can tell why Riley over at Riley Marie, why she loved this one so much. I also loved it, and I totally see her thoughts being in this book and why we both love this one. This was although it wasn't quite a 5-star read for me, just because I felt like it dragged a little bit, I still give this a solid 4 out of 5 stars, and it will definitely be one I recommend to you guys throughout the year. So look forward to me not shutting up about the Honey Witch. The next book I read, yes, sorry, I'm making sure I don't have to do any more pictures. The next book that I read was With a Little Luck by Marissa Meyer. What? Another Marissa Meyer book? Yes. And the reason why I read this one, because although I didn't complete the challenge like I thought I would, I still managed to read one of my TBR jar picks from the month of July. I'm going to carry over the other 2 books that got picked, because although I didn't get to them in July, I'm still interested in reading, unlike the other months that I had my TBR jar pick for me. But this one was a really great read. This is a YA contemporary. This is book 2 of a trilogy, duology. I'm not too sure how long the series will be. I know there's another title that's similar to this. It's called We Can Have Magic or something like that, and that's supposed to come out in June of next year. I don't know if that's going to be considered book 3 of this series. I'll have to see from Marissa herself. But this follows our main character named Jude, and it's just basically a coming-of-age story for him. It's a YA contemporary novel, and if you read book 1, which was Instant Karma, you would definitely love this one. There's a lot of little Easter eggs and connections to the first book that I think fans of this one will love. Although I love Marissa Meyer's writing and I think of her as an auto-buy author, this was a 4 out of 5 stars because this is a me thing, not a book thing. I didn't realize, because our main character, he's into Dungeons and Dragons, and I didn't realize because at the time of me reading this, I was listening to it mostly on audio, but I didn't realize that for the Dungeon and Dragons part, that there was graphic novel artwork in it. So I was very sad to not see this, because like I said, I listened to this mostly audio, just because that's how I always do Marissa's books. But yeah, it was a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm definitely curious to see if we will get a 3rd book or not, and to see which character we're going to follow from this family, because this family has a lot of siblings in it. So 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely will check out the rest of the series. If there's more to come, I don't know if there is or not, so we shall see. The next book is a graphic novel, and I have to put a picture in real quick, and that is Full Shift by Jennifer Dugan. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the author. This book doesn't come out till August 27th, and I read this early. Another arc that I read. Oh my gosh, who am I? Although this was a graphic novel, so I feel like I'm cheating a little bit by reading it, but I picked this up just on a whim one day, and I was like, let me just read the first couple pages just to see how I feel. And then 3 hours later, I finished it in that same sitting. So I read this in one sitting. It's so good. This is a new vampire werewolf-y, more werewolf than vampire. So if you're anything like me and you want to find something that's better than Twilight, yes, I said that. Something that's better than Twilight, definitely check out Full Shift. And I don't know because I don't want to spoil it, but I think there was connections to her last graphic novel, which was Coven. So if there is, Jennifer, let me know. I'm curious to see if my theories are right. This comes out August 27th. Again, thank you, Penguin Teen, for sending me an e-arc of this one. I really enjoyed it. Give it 4 out of 5 stars. The second to last book that I read, I picked this up because this was one of my Owlcrate books that I needed to get to. So I'll leave my Owlcrate unboxing for this book. I'll leave that up above or down below. And that is Songs of the Six Realms by Judy I. Lin. So at the very end of the month, the 30th and the 31st, obviously, my friend Mel over at Completely Melanie was hosting a 24 and 48 hour readathon, and I was like, ooh, I always wanted to participate and I never really do. So we did some live reading sprints on YouTube. If I can find those, I'll leave them down below so you can catch up on them. But I was like, what book can I read not so quickly, but also not a long book, if that makes sense. And this was the perfect book to do a 24 and 48 hour readathon. I started this on the first day of the readathon, and I finished this on the second day in the afternoon, and then I was able to start another book after that. So I was really happy with the progress that I made in this book. This was such a fun, interesting retelling. I don't think I know anything about this like background of the story, so reading from the author's point of view and all that was very interesting. You guys know it's harder for me to talk about why I love the books and why I didn't without spoiling you guys, but I did do a weekly vlog of me reading this, so hopefully by the time this video goes up, that vlog will be up as well. Although I gave this 3.5 stars, I am still going to keep this one just because it is such a pretty addition from Owlcrate. And yeah, I'm just happy I read it, and I love that it was a standalone novel, so I'm excited to see what Judy has in store in the future as well. And then the last book that I read from the month of July was one that Penguin Teen, shouting out them again, Penguin Teen, they were doing a read-along for this one, and I think the read-along for it ends today or it ends tomorrow, but as you can see, it's in my wrap-up video, and I was able to I finished this on the 31st, so whatever day that is, I finished reading House of Marionnne by J.L. This is my third book by J.L. that I read, because I read her Wings of Ebony duology. Love that series. Very underhyped. This one, also very underhyped. I would say if you love the Shadowhunters series and if you love the Shade of Magic trilogy, definitely those two series combined is what you'll get in this one. We had a page breakdown and everything for this book, and the reason why they did a read along for this is because book 2, Shadow of Pearl, I'm reading that in the month of August early because they sent me an e-arc of it. I'm so excited and so grateful for Penguin Teen, so thank you so much for sending me an e-arc. And I'm very excited to say I really love this one. I give this 5 out of 5 stars, and although this isn't a monthly favorite of mine, I would say I still enjoyed it. So love this one, read it for the read along, and I cannot wait to dive into book 2, which you'll see on my August TBR. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars, loved it, can't wait to continue on with this series. And there you have it. Those are all the books that I have read in the month of July. 15 books with a lot of videos, or a lot of time for me filming. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope all my thoughts were cohesive and clear and for you guys to understand. And I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you all have a great day or night or not. The choice is yours, and happy reading. And I'll talk to you guys down in the comments below. Bye.